Thanks for joining us for another Kickstarter conniption. Today we're previewing the game Wolfenstein, the board game from Archon Studio.
As always, we want to make sure you are aware that our Kickstarter conniption videos are sponsored in part by our Kickstarter backers and by the creators of this game. Hey guys, and thanks for joining us at Tantrum House Studio 3. I'm Will Meadows.
And I'm Sara Meadows, and today we're previewing the game Wolfenstein, the board game from Archon Studio.
This is a dudes on a map scenario-based game for 1 to 4 players. Each round takes about 60 to 90 minutes to play. Archon Studios was happy to send us a copy, so let's take a look at how it's played.
To set up the game, assemble the map tiles and doors for your selected mission.
Place out the tokens like secret passages, event tokens, and spawn points in their designated spaces.
Place the drones, super soldiers, commanders, and boss minis on their starting locations for the mission and gather the corresponding card for each one.
Select 4 heroes for the game and give the mini, hero card, shared life token, and starting weapons and ammo to each player, and then you're ready to begin.
Players will work together and decide which order to play their heroes in.
They spend the number of actions shown on their hero card, and heroes may do things like move, open doors, use equipment, and attack.
When they make an attack, they'll check the line of sight and the range for the weapon they are using. So for this example, the laser craft work has a range of 2. The hero checks to see their accuracy, 2, and the weapon's attack value, 3, and adds them and rolls 5 dice.
For each heart that is rolled, the enemy will take a wound. If a shield is rolled, the enemy loses a shield, and once all shields are lost, shield rolls count as hits.
If a reload is rolled, the hero must place a token on their weapon and must spend 2 actions to reload their gun before they can use it again.
When the enemy is defeated, the hero will gain loot. So in this case, equipment, a weapon, 2 ammo, and 2 glory points, and all the other heroes will gain 1 glory point.
Once all 4 heroes have taken their turn, the enemy will get their opportunity to strike back. They will take their turns in initiative order.
Nazis attack first and ask questions later, so if a hero is in their line of sight, they will attack immediately. If not, they will move closer to the action.
When a hero runs out of hit points, they begin to bleed out. Before their next turn, another hero must come to their aid and give them their shared life token. If they make it, the hero will be fully restored, but if not, they are removed from the game and their equipment is lost.
Heroes must complete the objectives for their mission and do it before the round counter runs out. If they are successful, they will ultimately defeat Hitler and end his reign of terror, proving that they are tougher than death incarnate. Wolfenstein the board game is a 10-scenario-based action game that players will work together to storm Castle Wolfenstein, making it through all the halls and rooms, and ultimately, finally, having a showdown with Hitler himself at the end of the game.
In the game, there are 6 heroes that you can pick from. You will always play with 4, no matter your player count. So in some scenarios where you may have 2 or 3 players, somebody may be controlling 2 players, but you'll ultimately decide which order to play those heroes in for your turn on that round.
The game comes with a basic instruction manual that goes over all the rules and everything you need to play, and then each scenario has a map laid out that shows you where all the pieces go for each round. The scenarios vary from things like simply surviving through the course of the map and killing everybody to having very specific missions like having to push down specific buttons in different rooms, or having to actually like video game style time it to where only on even numbered rounds do doors unlock and you can slide into the area to be able to take down the bad guys. A lot of different pretty creative scenarios in the game.
And like video games, the game progressively gets harder. So the first map and setup uses a certain number of components, and then each one will just add to that until you get to the end where you'll have almost using all of the components in the game for the final scenario.
Each of the players in the game is totally asymmetrical, so players have different abilities and skill checks and different amounts of dice that they can roll each round. Some of the heroes, like the main guy, BJ, can carry 2 guns and fire them both off on turns. Other characters are able to move a lot further in the game. The deck is full of tons of different weapons, pieces of equipment, and different treasures that you'll be able to get throughout the course of the game. A lot of stuff differently going on just for replayability value.
Yeah, and there are times where you can share those equipment items and weapons with other characters if you're adjacent. There are other features in the game like secret passages where you can jump into a different section of the map. One thing you'll need to be aware of is every scenario has a hazard tracker, so you'll either need to finish the game before the number of rounds is over, or some of them you'll need to watch the hazard tracker and not let that go above the set limit. There are also specific objectives that you have to meet for each scenario. Some of them you can't let any of your heroes die, and some of them it's okay if one of them dies. You may be able to still complete even one man down. And then there's one where you may be able to, some event cards in the game where you may be able to take on some of the enemies on your own team and use them as additional players.
If you're a fan of the original IP, I felt like this was a great adaptation to the board game. Even like just harkening back to my original Wolfenstein 3D original games, I wanted to push walls and find the secret passages. I recognized all the characters, the guns and weapons are the same as that have been used in the game. So if you've played any of the video games, you're going to already be familiar with a lot of the things going on, and then it will just be a matter of learning the actual game mechanics to be able to play it.
Yeah, in the game, there's a lot of dice rolling for the attacking, but I felt like there were enough ways to mitigate some of those results, so it's not completely luck based on the attacks. There are some of the enemy that have more difficulty to them. They have really high shields and health, and some of them, their specific ability makes you re-roll a lot of times, so it is very difficult to beat some of those higher level enemies.
I really enjoyed the artwork for the game. The components were pretty cool. Each of those doors slides out so you can keep track of which doors have been opened and closed. I thought the minis were pretty sharp, and I really liked the variety of art shown on the cards.
Yeah, this sounds like something you're interested in. You can check out Wolfenstein, the board game from Archon Studios on Kickstarter. And then be sure to check out our other videos and subscribe to Tantrum House. When a hero runs out of hit points, they begin to bleed out.
That sounded really exciting. They'll bleed out.
Okay. I totally was reading ahead. Funny. Okay. I'm gonna have a hard time saying this without laughing.
What did we play on? Did we play Bring It On? Or were
We
we
played
like
Bring It On.
Can I play Daddy?
We did not play that easy of a level, although we did not try I Am Death Incarnate.